was perhaps the craziest match in IPL history. Starting with Karun Nair, what a remarkable story, comeback story. This is one of the most extraordinary in the last 15-20 years in Indian cricket, certainly for me. So I thought Dhoni was excellent in this match in a three-dimensional kind of capacity.
When you hear of 111 in an IPL match, you're probably thinking it's the distance someone like an Andre Russell has muscled the ball to. But this 111 was a heist. This was a heist, Ayaz, because Punjab Kings defended the lowest total in IPL history by bowling out KKR for 95. Now, we were talking about 300, but that looks farther and farther away. But let's talk about this match, and specifically Yuzvendra Chahal. Now, the leg spinner went for a lot of money in the auction, I think 18 crores, but he looked like a pale shadow of himself before this match. But yesterday, I think he was going for 11 and over. But yesterday, the real Chahal stood up, the highest wicket taker in IPL history, and he took 4 more wickets to that tally, and he helped Punjab clinch the win. So, what did you make of the match, and what specifically did you see different in Chahal's bowling?
So, first things first, this was perhaps the craziest match in IPL history. I mean, to defend 111 is almost impossible. Let's put it that way, in 20 overs. I'm not saying it's impossible. It was shown last night how, KKR were bowled out or bundled out for 95. So these things can happen. That's because the format also, the T20 format is extremely topsy-turvy, which we know. But even so, for Punjab to defend the score was something, outrageous. It was diabolical in many ways because they themselves had batted so poorly to finish at 111. And then you find KKR going a step further and batting even worse, so to speak, and getting bundled out for 95. So what we've seen actually in the last few days is some extraordinary matches and turnarounds and comebacks. Starting with Karun Nair, what a remarkable story, comeback story this is. One of the most extraordinary in the last 15-20 years in Indian cricket, certainly for me. See, imagine a guy who made 300 in a test innings, never played another match again, and comes back. He was discarded from IPL, not thought of as a T20 player at all, comes and makes 89, doesn't win the match for Delhi Capitals, but he certainly wins everybody's hearts. And I think from here, he will perhaps go on to win the nod of the selectors, the approval of the selectors, come July when India is touring England for the Test series. Now, I'm making that point very unreservedly here because Karun Nair has done superbly in domestic red ball cricket, also in white ball cricket. He was shouting from the rooftops for people to take a look at him, and this is what the advantage of the IPL is. You play an innings like this in the IPL, and you're suddenly up there, elevated right into the spotlight, and nobody can ignore you. The buzz around the IPL circuit is Karun Nair right now, and I think deservedly so.
Yeah, let's also talk about KKR's batting for a minute. So, what do you think it was? Was it a lack of application, or was it excellent bowling by Punjab? Was it, I don't know what it was, but do you think, especially we expect Sunil Narayan to play a certain way, and fair enough, he's been doing that, but you would think someone like an Ajinkya Rahane is the perfect candidate for this sort of chase, but then that also didn't happen. Do you think it's he took blame for it after the match, but it's not him that's the only person to blame. But do you think this signals to a larger trend in this new form of T20 cricket where batters have been, in a way, forced to forget how to drop anchor?
That's a very, very valid point, I think, Anirudh, you've raised, because I think that really is the case. There seems to have, a kind of a template has evolved which suggests that batsmen have to go hammer and tongs from ball one and not stop. Even if things are going haywire, don't stop. Now, it can work for some, it may not work for some. Remember, the team which really made this come alive last season, apart from India in the T20 World Cup, was Sunrisers Hyderabad, who performed brilliantly, reached the final, didn't win the title, but they set up a kind of a template. But that same template didn't seem to work for them this season, at least in 4-5 matches, till they came back with a victory in the last match. So there is a bit of a debate going on about what approach should be there. But clearly, what last night's match, KKR versus Punjab, shows that if you have to adapt and adjust and change, it must be done, because ultimately the objective is to win the game. So I think KKR, and certainly, the vital wicket was Rahane's, where I think he blundered along with his non-striking partner in not taking a review. I mean, you're the team's best batsman. You have to, perforce, take a review. He didn't. And as replay showed, he would have probably been saved had he taken the review. But the approach of the batting, first Punjab and then KKR, I think KKR also perhaps were, lapsed into this delusion that this was a very easy target, and whatever happens, we got a very long batting lineup. Somehow we'll reach 111. But then suddenly, when you lose 4-5 wickets for 7-8 runs, you realize that your batting has really caved in, and everything is left then to Andre Russell, who's not been the best of forms this season. So even he falls towards the end, or at the end, and there you are. You've lost 2 points. And what this has done is it's pushed Punjab Kings into the top 5 in the points table. Remember, there are 5 teams with 8 points each, and KKR have slipped into the bottom 5. So, and that can have a lot of consequence going ahead. Because this is looks like a very intense competition between all 10 teams this season.
Yeah, you did speak about comebacks and you spoke glowingly about Karun Nair, but I think I asked the first question about Yuzvendra Chahal. I think we should come back to him also, because do you think this is a signal of a comeback? Because like I said, he was a pale shadow of himself before this match, and he now ends up with 4 more wickets to his highest ever tally in IPL history.
I think so. I think he bowled, superbly yesterday. The control, the guile, the nuances. I mean, he sensed even when they were batting. The pitch wasn't the greatest to bat on. It wasn't an easy pitch, which even Punjab's batsmen, much as we say, they fall to them. I mean, against the short ball, I thought they made too many mistakes. Against Harshit Rana, but even against Narayan and against Varun Chakravarti, you realize that the batsmen were struggling. Now Punjab don't have the same quality of spinners, or at least in number, apart from Chahal, who had been, hadn't shown anything remarkable in this season at all. So this was his moment to upstage Varun Chakravarti and Sunil Narayan in this kind of form, or the form they were in, and win a match for his team from that situation. I think will just boost his confidence tremendously going ahead in this competition. Apart from his own teams, because now they see him as a match winner going in every time. It's not that you have to now look around Shreyas Iyer, who will help me this time because Yuzi is not in form. And I thought, the way he got somebody stumped out. He got Ajinkya Rahane sweeping, that playing that slog sweep and missing. When to bowl the googly, when to bowl the flipper. All of those nuances which has made Yuzvendra Chahal the highest wicket taker in the IPL were all in evidence. So I think he had a point to prove to himself, to his own team, and to the league, to the other teams at large, and he's done that quite splendidly.
Yeah, and talking of comebacks, we should also talk about a mini comeback from Chennai, who won their first match in a long time under new captain MS Dhoni. Now, it was a pitch suited to them, let's be honest. It was in Lucknow, they beat Lucknow, and MS Dhoni finished it off with the bat. But with that performance, did you see enough of a change to say that they are out of a rut, or was it just a pitch thing again?
I'm a little hesitant to say they're out of a rut because the batting still didn't click. The top order, in fact, top lower order where Dhoni bats from there onwards, it's a bit of a either you apply the finishing touches or somebody comes out with a heroic innings. Now I think they were a trifle lucky that they had Shivam Dubey, who came good after a long struggle in the middle, and then Dhoni, of course, coming and playing that splendid cameo. I think now it's become very clear that this is the kind of role that Dhoni likes and wants for himself, and now as a captain in charge of the team. So I thought Dhoni was excellent in this match in a three-dimensional kind of capacity, as captain, as wicketkeeper, as well as batsman. And that's the Dhoni who can lead his team out of the rut potentially.
Yeah, so there you have it. So tonight's match is Delhi Capitals versus Rajasthan. Number 2 plays number 8 on the table. Now everyone will be looking forward to. Now remember, Delhi Capitals lost their first match. That was their first loss, the last one against Mumbai. Now we'll be looking out whether they can bounce back and reclaim that form again. And also, most eyes, as we talked about earlier, will be on Karun Nair. So we'll come back to you after that match. So that's it for this episode of Sports Room. We'll see you next time.